Brian Carr, our flip specialist at one of his amazing flip properties here. We were just looking at the upstairs unit of this legal duplex, and now we are here looking at the bottom portion of this legal duplex. This feels like a separate home.
Just about.
I have my tulips.
I know.
I can get my
spring,
mail. Let's have a look in here.
Go check it out.
Okay. Ooh, so this isn't done.
This is under reno.
All right.
So what you guys saw in the polished product upstairs, or 3/4 polished, down here we're fully under construction, so you can see what it looks like at the midpoint when the construction's underway.
A lot of people that were starting with a flip, I'm sure they cannot see the finished product. It'd be really difficult for them to see, you know, so it's great when they can come and see some of your projects that you've completed or are midway through, and it really allows people to kind of see the vision. But I love the smell in here, because it's not like the smell of money when you get the property, you know, with
the
the dead
smell of money
bodies.
is usually smoke, cat pee, and so on.
Gerbils.
Yep, gerbils.
Incessant cats. Crazy cat ladies.
It's true.
But now it smells like sawdust.
Yeah.
It smells very dry down here.
It smells like work.
Yes. Do you feel the work, Ryan?
I do.
Yeah, so you have a lot of crews hard at work
I do.
here.
I do.
Let's have a peek at what this is, because I'm loving this here. Oh, wow. Oh, so you've done all the framing. The ceiling height is, what are the rules? Can you tell me what the rules are for this? This seems to be quite high ceilings and great below grade windows as well.
Absolutely. So what we've got here, we've got your minimum ceiling height's usually 6'5". Okay. There was a beam that was lower, just like in the upstairs. There was a beam, and it was lower than 6'5", so we swapped out the beam. This beam, although it looks all tucked in nicey now, that beam weighs about 800 pounds, and it's carrying 2 stories. So when it goes in, it's got to be right.
And it's expensive. We were talking before. It's about $10,000. It can be, because a lot of these beams, they have to be created too, right? You don't just go to Home Depot and buy a beam and leave.
Sometimes you can, but oftentimes you can't, which is kind of where this one came in. This one's solid steel, and it's been packed out with lumber to make it work with a retrofit application. And it's a heavy duty beam.
Excellent. So it was a big investment, but it was a good investment. It gave us more ceiling height.
It did.
So we want to have happy tenants that like light and space.
There was a post here, right? And when you're going through and you're doing all the effort, like you guys see spray foam and you see fresh framing and you see all this stuff, right? Why would you go to all this work and not take out a post? Right? When you come in, you got this nice kitchen, and then you got a post in the middle of it. If you can do it and it's cost effective to do it,
absolutely.
Right, now's the time.
Yes, because basement apartments aren't what they used to be. They used to be sort of a place where maybe, you know, transitional people would be living, maybe if they didn't want to live in an apartment, like they'd live in a basement apartment. And a lot of people were really compromising their standards too. A lot of like furnaces in the kitchen, and no lights, and a maze, sleeping in closets. Today, with the cost of living, I mean, investors are really able to attract high-quality, great tenants by providing these fantastic products.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the ceilings were not like this. You had to create that. What about the windows? Were they always below grade?
So this basement had 4 windows already here, which was cool. What I like about this in particular is the windows are above grade. They're not in window wells. Right. More natural light. Less leak problems. We fully waterproofed this basement as well before we got into all the framing. Okay. So maintenance free moving forward. The one window we did have to cut in was the egress window, which is over here on the far wall. Right. That'll be a pretty good sized window. And again, lots of natural light. You do have minimums for light space versus the square footage that you're building in. So that's what we had to do to make that.
Excellent. And I guess the finishes up here. How many bedrooms are we looking at in here?
This is 2. So we'll take you back. What we've got behind us here is 2 bedrooms, so 1, 2 in the back corners. Over here to our right, we have the furnace room, utilities, vent pipe stacks, all this stuff. And then we've got the bathroom on this side.
Oh, and the tub's in here already.
Pretty good sized bath, yeah.
Wow, and there it is. There's your same flooring that you had upstairs.
Same flooring, same tub, same tile.
See, I thought that you had tiling upstairs, but you did not. This is vinyl flooring.
It is roll-out vinyl.
It looks like it. It looks. Are you going to use the same exact finishes as upstairs, including the marble?
Everything.
Or shall I say the real marble?
All the same. All the same.
The porcelain that looks like marble?
That's right.
So you really give people this modern feel, luxury feel, but you are doing it on budget.
You have to stay on budget.
Right.
Like for a tenant, at some point this will be a tenanted product, right? For a tenant, they want clean, safe, affordable housing, right? And from the builder's perspective, it doesn't take any more effort to lay, you know, a cheapy, ugly, non-color coordinated tile versus a nice, modern, trendy looking tile. The effort is still the same. You still have to glue it to the wall, right? So you might as well pick something that looks good, spend a bit of time up front, color coordinate it, have somebody come through, pick the finishes for you, and put that up.
And for landlords, also, it's also a lot more durable. So a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to upgrade my reno and do hardwood flooring, not this 12 millimeter laminate that most people use. And it turns out, yes, your intentions are good, but you're overpaying, like triple the cost. And then also, it doesn't have as good wear and tear.
Yeah.
So if I'm a tenant, do I want the look of the luxury feel? And then, oh, shoot, my flooring's getting worn. Is your landlord more likely to replace authentic, genuine hardwood flooring, which is going to be a huge budget to them, or in that case, say the tiling, or hey, I have another strip of this vinyl stuff, I just put it over, and
There you go.
everyone's problems are solved.
Way you go. Yeah. You got to stay on point. You got to stay on budget. As long as it looks good, tenants are happy.
And then we want to attract right tenants. Everyone
We do.
deserves a great place to live, and happy tenants equal less headaches for landlords, for sure.
That's true.
All right. So what do we have behind you here? This is more the rec room?
Yeah, so right here, currently we're using it as our workspace since we're clean upstairs, right? We're using it for our workspace. We've spray painted all the trim, basically just getting prepped for the remainder of the renovation. But once it's done, this will be the living space. So you can see over behind us on the wall there, we've wired for flat screen TVs, we've wired for cable, we've wired for telephone, all this stuff. What I like to think about when we're going into a project is not just about how we're renovating, what's our budget, but also how those tenants are going to live, right? Because moving forward, property management wise, again, whether it's us that's keeping it or whether it's the product that goes in the market and somebody's flipping it, I want to know how the tenants are going to set up their unit. And if we put the TV over on that wall, where would the couch go? Probably right here. Right?
Yeah.
And if the couch is here, when you come back for property management, you know that you're not going to have a couch in a bedroom and a this here and a that there. You're going to have a TV, a table, a couch, and if that's set up like this, that's locked in. That's what's going on. Over here behind us, they've got the kitchen. They can see the TV. The space functions. It works. Right. So think full circle. Where do we want to be in the end? Work our way backwards. That's how we do it.
I love that. I think that's very strategic, and you always operate on these same systems. I think maybe you had a photo up there with your big whiteboard. Everything's very strategic, very systemized.
Planning.
You know exactly what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the kitchen. Is it going to look pretty much identical to the one upstairs?
Pretty similar. White is the go-to for us. White's just neutral, light. In this case, we're going to be doing a linear kitchen across the back with the appliances. Stove over on the left side. What are we doing for fridge? I think the fridge goes across the back as well. The electrical panel we've actually relocated down to the far end. Okay, so it's going to be a linear kitchen down there, and then we're going to have a big island with a peninsula and a breakfast bar coming out over here. A lot of our tenants, especially tenants in basements, don't come with kitchen tables, so we can give them utility space, right? And they don't need to move a clunky kitchen table. It's going to save wear and tears coming down the stairs, and it's a modern, nice feel too.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you wrapped this basement.
Yes.
Was it a wet basement?
It was a wet basement.
Okay, so most investors, if you're flipping a property and you're doing this on your own, don't get a wet basement unless you are a very savvy contractor like yourself.
Yeah.
Was that able to give you a nice discount on the purchase price?
Yes. So wet basements are great. Leaky roofs are great. Discounts are an interesting thing. When you're buying, and you can bring those discounts, or those potential discounts up to a seller, and you say, hey, you got a wet basement, you got a bad roof, you got this, you got that. They start going, oh my God, what is this going to cost me, right? I don't want to handle these problems. Discount. Just take it, right? I don't want to deal with it. So for us, as investors, if we can go in and we can buy a property at a discount and end up with a waterproof basement and a new roof and a whole bunch of new things as we go, you end up with a better product in the end, and you didn't have to pay for it up front.
Yep.
Right? Like, why would you pay for a finished basement if you're going to go and tear it out just to waterproof and put it back together? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And also, the benefit of working with you is the fact that, say, an investor like myself, pretend I was a hands-on investor, I wanted to DIY this, I might have to walk away from this property even
potentially.
after getting that discount, because I can't guarantee those numbers, really. Also, you could do this project on cost. This is all you do. And you know exactly, you're not scared of leaky basements.
I love it.
Or
I
leaky
love
roofs.
it.
You love
Yeah.
it, because you know how much it costs. You know how you could get it down. Because often, say, if I'm going to go and DIY it, I don't have a construction company. I'm going to have to pay double the amount that someone with a contracting company and a professional flipper will.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. So people out there, they know if they want to do it themselves. Maybe you should avoid the leaky roofs and the basements. These are real. Like even in our book, we state what would you run from, but if you still want to make money on these flips and people can still make these great returns, like we spoke earlier, you can also partner with an experienced contractor and house flipper who can automatically give you the competitive advantage, because once you're partnered with you, then you get the benefits of these lower costs.
That's right.
So it's all about win-wins.
That's right.
Before we knock off here, what are we going to rent this place out for, and who would you describe a tenant living in this property to be?
Yeah, so I think this will rent to, ideally, a younger couple with one kid upstairs. That would probably rent for somewhere around $1,700. Downstairs, I would expect the same tenant profile, younger couple, maybe no child at all, or maybe one. I think down here will rent for about $1,350, somewhere in there.
$1,350 for a basement apartment.
Yeah,
And is this plus utilities?
plus utilities.
Plus utilities. That is
So you'd
incredible.
gross about $3,000 or so out of a property like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing ROI. We know it always really is all about the numbers, depending on what you wanted to do with this property.
Yep.
And what would the after repair value be of this entire legal duplex once we're done?
Yeah, in around 600.
$600,000.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing us this legal suite. If anyone's interested in partnering with Brian or learning how to do this yourself, or even mentoring before you go out and do it yourself, contact Brian Carr.
Thanks, guys.